Viewers and subscribers, welcome back to Beating the Press podcast. I am your host, Rafa. Now, this evening, I am here vibing with Billo, and he is here to share his story. Billo, welcome to the platform.
Thank you so much for having me, Rafa. It's a pleasure.
All right, Billo, let's jump straight into it. We normally take it all the way back. So, we know you as Billo, but what is your given name?
So, first of all, hello to all of the viewers and all the subscribers. I am Akins Ishmael Banton, otherwise called Billo Willow. We have a whole heap of different name, but yeah, primarily a lot of people call me Bill or Billo Willow. It works always. But yeah, it's a pleasure to be here actually, and having a conversation with the general himself.
Yes, definitely a warm welcome to the platform for sure. But Bilo, take it back for us. Early life, where were you born and where did you grow up?
So I was born in a little community in close to Black River, St. Elizabeth, called Slibe. That's where I grew up most of my life. But my father's family are from Slibe and my mother's family are from Vineyard. So I'm mostly in both communities because they're joining communities. So usually if I'm not in Vineyard, I'm in Slibe. But majority of my time was spent in Slibe, where my dad is from.
Okay, so any siblings?
Yes, I have 4 siblings. I have one brother and three sisters. So my one brother is by my dad's side with 2 other sisters, which are not from my mom. And my eldest sister is my mom's child. So she's the eldest for my mom and I'm the eldest for my dad. So yeah, my dad has 4 kids and my mom has 3. So in all, I have 4 siblings.
Okay, so where do you fall in that order, so to speak?
So I am the first one for my mom. I'm the first one for my dad, and the second one for my mother.
Okay, got you.
Yes.
Got you. So in terms of growing up though, what was it like from a financial point of view?
Well, from a financial point of view, it was always kind of difficult because there's not a lot of opportunities within the community that I'm from. So most people are drawn towards, just making ends meet, whether it be farming, you know, or just whatever they can do to kind of, make ends meet for the family. But financially, my mom, she really did a great job because when I went to high school, she actually had to go away to the Bahamas to kind of work to see if she can help finance the family even more. And that played a very important role in everything that that is happening in today. So yeah, so basically she was the one that basically go out and make sure that she stood for the family 100%. But my dad was always there financially as well, but mostly making sure me and my brother was always good. But from a financial standpoint, I would say we were, just average. You know, yeah, I would definitely say that.
Okay. So not the easiest of childhood, but at the same time, your parents did have to put in some hard work to ensure that the kids were fed and taken care of, so to speak.
Yes, most definitely, and they actually did a very good job with just overcoming the struggle and putting the kids first and making sure that the kids were all good.
Okay. So in terms of your early schooling, take us through that. What are the memories of your early schooling? Where did you attend, let's say, primary school, and then, walk us up the line into your high school years?
Okay, so I started going to school. I actually went to Slipe Infant School, where I did 3 years there, and then I later moved on to Burn Savannah Primary School, which is in Burn Savannah, St. Elizabeth, where I did, I think it was 5 years, or because I did take a year over, so I think it was 6 years, right? Because yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So
Usually, you would
yeah,
do your entry exams maybe at grade 6.
yeah. maybe it was 7 years because initially I did do an extra year at the primary school level, and yeah, so I spent yes 7 years in primary at Brentwood, and then after which I did the GSAT exam, and I matriculated to the great Monroe College.
Okay, so Billo, we know you as a top midfield player. Where did it all start? How did football get into the mix? Was it from the primary school level, or it's when you transitioned to high school that you actively started taking the game serious?
So from my memory, growing up, I would always see my uncle, which is a past student at Monroe College as well, and which is by my dad's side, and I always see my mom's brother. They would always be playing soccer. I guess that is where the love came for the sport. But primarily, it was always cricket. I you
Oh,
know I
cricket was the first love, so to speak.
yeah, I've always loved cricket, and but when I got to primary school was when I really started to love soccer even more, football. I started to love football even more, and so when I was in primary school, I was on the team for the primary school per se, and so we ended up winning both years that I played. So the first year that I was in grade 6, we won the championship that year with me playing at left back. That was my first position.
Okay.
And the second year we actually won the championship again, and I still played at left back. You know, and so basically after those 2 years, my coach, who is also a past student of Monroe College, big up Mr. Geary. So he said to me that basically they know that I'm a smart kid, and I actually got offers to go to States, and so they told me that if I pass to go to Monroe, I'm gonna originally go there, but if it's something less than what they're expecting, then they're gonna send me to St. Elizabeth Technical. And so when I did the GSAT, the results came out and I passed to go to Monroe, and it was the excited feeling. I actually cried because because two of my uncles actually went to Monroe, so it was something that I really wanted to do.
Oh, like a family tradition.
Yeah, family tradition per se. Yeah.
Okay. So what was it like? How was the transition now moving from primary to high school? And did you immediately start playing football at Monroe while you made that transition?
Yeah. So what happened was, so I played both years for the primary school at the primary school level, and because we won the championship both years, I was actually invited to go and play for the at the parish level,
Right,
and
right.
and so that was also a part of my journey that actually made me fall in love with the sport more, even more, because every Saturday people would always see me with my bag on my back and my Patrick studs in my bag going to training. Hot, cold, rain, shine, I'm always going to training, even though I wasn't being included in the team like a 100%, because it was mostly like the Saint Elizabeth, but the Saint Elizabeth technical ball of them.
Oh,
You
so
know
so
that.
at that stage, what age are we looking at? That's under 14?
No, yes, that is at the under 14 level. So right after I got out of primary school, that was when I started playing for the parish level, and so what had happened was I eventually passed to go to Monroe, and I'm not quite sure what happened, but I didn't get the chance to play for the under 14 team. I don't know if it's I waited too long. I think I waited too long to actually go to the tryout. But
Oh,
but my classmates, they always knew that I was a good soccer player. So I actually didn't started playing football at Monroe until I was going into third form.
okay. So that would have been at that point now, it would have been the under 16 level.
Yes, and so I actually my first year playing for Monroe College, I came immediately from the parish level, because the parish league plays in the summertime. So and that's when the camp, the Dacosta Cup camps basically start. So while playing for the parish level, I invited my dad and my brother and my uncle to come and watch a game at the St. Elizabeth Technical over the B field. So that day I performed very bad. One of my worst performances I can recall, because I ended up giving away a own goal, because that was the first time my dad actually come and watched me play, and I ended up giving away a own goal, and I caught the ball in the box and gave away a penalty like a goalkeeper. It was a very funny event, because up to this day, my brother, he still reminds me of that moment. of that
Okay.
moment,
A
so
standout moment from the youth program.
yeah, and so after that game, actually, a lot of players on the team, they were talking and and saying that they're gonna leave they're gonna just go straight to camp, because the parish thing wasn't working out, because we were being demolished in games, 5-6, and so I took it upon myself to actually go to the Lancaster Cup camp at Monroe,
Okay.
and, and that's where soccer started in high school for me.
Okay. So at that point now you are maybe around what, third form, third, fourth form?
Yeah, just going into third form.
Okay, just going into third farm. So,
Yeah.
so you participated in that summer camp then at the Costa Cup level.
Yes, actually, that was my first year when I made the Dakar Cup team, and I was Timar, and a couple other, maybe a few other players were some of the youngest persons on the team that year. And for someone as young as us to be making the Dakar Cup team, it really lifted my spirit, and really made me fall even more in love with the game. And yeah, along with that, just being gifted with the talent to play ball. I've always been the person who tries to work the hardest. So even at a young age, playing with the U19s, in every situation, the coach can always tell you that I am working the hardest, because these guys are bigger than me. So whatever me need to bring to the table, if it means I have to work the hardest, that's what I always try to put out. And so I guess that was one of the things that made me stand out while being so young and playing for the Dakar Cup team.
Okay, earlier you had mentioned that you started at left back. So when did that transition was made for you to now be playing in the midfield? Or
So I think that transition was made when I was playing at the parish level. I guess they started to play me at centre back, and then they saw that I had the quality to be playing in the midfield. Yeah,
okay,
my passes were always good and everything was on point. Reading the game, the body size, everything. So at the parish level was where I kind of switched positions, and I, as I can remember, playing at left back, I was mostly using my left foot, and until a point in time where I even forgot to use my right foot. I wasn't able to use the right foot to kick a left pass over the field, and so going back into the midfield now, it kind of gave me a balance between using both my legs, because now I can use my left foot and I can use my right foot, and so basically that was where I changed positions. So
okay. All right, so take us now through your DeCosta Cup years. I mean, you're now what, at the fourth farm level and you are playing DeCosta Cup?
yeah, but prior to that, playing at my first year when I got selected as a part of the Dakar Cup team, um, I actually didn't get to play any game that year, because the coach had already told us that we're young. He's not sure if we're gonna be able to get game time,
Okay.
because at that time, Monroe had a lot of quality players. People that I still look up to this day. Amin Miller, Shana Van de Sousa, Yaya, you know, a lot of great people. Your mother's same way, and bossy them, Dunchi, and so it was kind of tough, but it was also understanding, because as me say, the team was a lot of good quality around the team. So
Right, right.
so so that year I actually went back to the under 16 level, which was
Okay.
Mr. Thomas was the coach. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, so
definitely.
so tell us about that. What was that experience like, Since it was your
Um,
first time also representing the school.
yes, it was a very good experience. I think that was when I actually developed a lot of understanding of the game. Because prior to the games, we would always be sitting in the classroom. The coach was always showing us the tactics, and I was understanding the game a little bit more, where to be at this time. And I think at this time I was also playing in the midfield. And so yeah, basically that was, in my opinion, that was where I kind of got a lot more understanding of the game. From sitting and actually going on the field to actually play and executing what Mr. Thomas told us in the classroom. So that was a definitely crucial time in my footballing career. But yeah, basically I went back to the under 16 level and we competed. It was a good little season, but we could have done better. But it was always a learning experience. But yeah, it was definitely a good part of the journey.
Oh, so at this point in time, then you're in fourth form.
I am in third farm at this point in time.
Oh, you're in
Uh,
third form.
Actually, I'm not quite sure the time period, but it could be that I was going to fourth farm, but the fact that I remained in grade 6, you know,
Oh, an extra year.
yeah, it means that it could
Oh,
be in third farm as well. So,
right, right,
so,
right.
so yeah,
But
actually, it
you
was in third
obviously
farm.
you were still eligible age-wise for under 16,
Yeah, yeah. So yes, and that was what happened. So after that year, I didn't end up getting any game for the Dakar Cup team,
right?
and, and so going into the next year now,
Right.
there was a lot of big expectations, especially from my community, and so I went back to camp again, you know, and was doing very good. I don't really know what happened, but when we went on a camp, I think to Rossi's, I got cut from the team.
Oh, you got cut.
Yeah, I got cut from the team. And, it was a very tragic period in my life. And I
Yeah,
think it was also the moment that kind of opened my eyes a lot, to see that I have to put in more work to actually get get to where I want to be. So yeah, that year I ended up getting cut from the team, even though I made the team the last the
right,
year prior
right,
as one of the youngest players. And so at past the mid season of that year, the assistant coach, Mr. Wilson, he came to me and he was talking to me and he told me to actually go back to the head coach and ask him for another chance. And so that's how I ended up getting back on the team for the remaining time of the season that year. But unfortunately, I didn't get any gaming time.
right,
But I was also grateful for the opportunity, to be able to be on camp and just take a little bit of financial strain off my parents. And once you're on camp, they might have worry too much because you have food, laundry room there, and everything kind of good. So yeah, we kind of grateful for the opportunity there. And then afterwards, the following year,
Oh, so by now you're looking to go into sixth form.
no, right now I am going into fifth farm.
Oh, this would be your fifth farm year.
Yeah, the
Oh,
fifth
so
farm.
in the interim though, how are you managing to balance the academics with the sports participation? How was the academic side of things leading up to fifth form?
So I had already passed 2 subjects from fourth farm, which is where we're at right now. Fourth farm going into fifth farm.
Right,
So I can say it wasn't too bad because I did math and English and I passed both those subjects. And but from third farm, I kind of had it in my head that I always want to come to America to play soccer. So I had a cousin who played for the national women's team, and she came to us. She actually came to the same school that Amin Miller and Shanna Van De Sousa came to, and she was plugging up some things for me, and she was telling me that I can come to the school. I just have to have a video and everything. So when she told me that, I kind of just had that in my head that this is what I really want to do.
right, right.
So so yeah, so basically, I'm not sure if that was one of the things that kind of made me a little bit laid back within school, but it wasn't bad because as I mentioned, I did two subjects in fourth form and I passed both subjects.
Okay.
So so yeah, so
So you
I
were
would say
coping fairly well then, technically.
yeah, fairly well,
Okay.
and I had some friends around me. We're still friends to this day. We are in the same group chat. We talk together. They would always make sure that I am always on point with my schoolwork and stuff because where I'm from, there's a lot of distractions and and I never really have much good role model around other than my father and and
Right.
to really make sure that me stay on par. But my uncles, the ones who attended Monroe, they would always make sure that certain times if anything is failing academically, they would make sure that I am I'm back on track. But yeah, basically the academic was okay at this point in time.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
fifth form now, you got cut back on the team, but again, no game time. So fifth
So
form must have been the year now you started getting some game.
yeah, so fourth farm going to fifth farm now. I went to the camp and I went on the camp, but most of the players that were playing the year before were still on the team.
Oh,
So it was definitely no easy feat, but because these players who have been starting the year prior to me, they've been there from the year that I made it as the youngest
right,
to the
right.
year to the year that I got cut, and to this present year they're still there. So it wasn't no easy feat going against these guys, and as I said, was a lot of quality around the team. So everyone had to be on point, and so the preseason started, and I realized that I was included in the starting 11 majority of the times,
Right.
over the people who were there prior to me. So I can really say that year was the year that kind of opened my eyes even wider because going against these guys who were actually on the team the year prior before, and now I am a starter, it kind of show the level of hard work that I'm putting in to actually get to actually get there. So yeah, so basically that was what happened, and yeah, we ended up the season started. I am now a natural starter in the team now. The season started, and it happened that me never get my ID, the ID for me to be able to play for the first 3 games, and it was it was kind of a sad moment because I didn't play the year prior, and
Right.
now the idea take a long while to come, and so
Another
people start,
obstacle in the way then. Something,
yes,
another thing you had to overcome.
yeah, and so people start speculating and say, no, I wonder if Bill make his side, or no, I wonder you know. And in my mind, I know that I have been starting all summer, but I can't say anything because I'm not even on the field. So
Right.
so so yeah, that happened, and so the first game when I actually got my ID to be able to play, I scored that game. The first game, I scored, and I think I probably scored 2 goals or assisted one and scored one, and so that kind of lifted my spirit a lot better, that year, and so we ended up playing through that year. I started all the games for the rest of the season when I got my ID
Okay.
and started, and I think that was a good season, you know, because not only did the same head coach that sent me home the year prior, he's still the head coach, and now he's including me in the starting level. So it really opened my eyes, as I said.
Mm. Okay. So how did that season pan out though? The team made it to the second round?
From my memory, I didn't think we made it to the second. Maybe we did, but I can't recall 100%.
Mm.
But maybe we actually did. But as I said, it was an eye
Oh, so
opener.
technically the team didn't go very deep into the competition, so to speak. It was
No, no,
either
no.
the first round or the second round, one of the two.
Yeah, yeah, yes. Either the first
Okay.
one or the second. Yeah,
So
and
moving forward though, you're now transitioning to L6, lower
yeah,
six.
yes, to L6.
Yeah, talk to
Yeah.
us about that. How did the six farm years work out? I mean, you must have now been a regular starter, senior player in the team, you know?
Yes, actually, actually, that was when I realized that the school thing kind of rough away.
Mm.
And because I ended up finishing Monroe, didn't get too much subject again because maybe they end up fail a portion of subject. And but I just think it's because me just locked in and just what I want to become.
Mm.
And so I kind of lost track, and as I said, I didn't really have much solid influence around me to say, all right, XYZ. But no, I know. But I ended up getting enough subject, the right amount of subject and everything in line to be able to play lower six, to play in lower six now. And the old boys them then look after way in terms of making sure that our exams are paid for. So I started the lower six year, and the the camp, the camp that year. I ended up going on camp, and you know was there for the whole camp. I got injured, I think half of the season because we did change a portion of coach that year, like two other coaches. And so I was injured for most part of the season, not for most part of the season, for the mid part of the season. And so coming into the season now, you know, at first, at the start of the camp, we always had a captain, Juki.
Right.
He was on the podcast a
Right,
couple
right,
weeks.
right.
So he was the captain. Hopefully there is no animosity there. Juki is my good friend, still
Right,
my good
right.
friend. I always make sure I check up on my friends sometime and make sure they're good. No one then, but so the whole preseason now, I was obviously I'm helping Juki, running the program and making sure that everyone was in line because I am still a senior player on the team. So that happened, and we kind of assumed that Juki was the captain. I respected that as well, and everyone on the team had to respect that as well, because he's our friend and I respect him, whatever the case is. And we ended up going to the preseason, and before the first game of the season, the coach called us all to a room to have a meeting. And in that meeting, he then discussed that there was going to be some changes in the team. And one of those changes was that I am now going to be the captain of the team. And I was like, what? you know, just out of
Oh, so
nowhere.
that
But
came as a surprise to you then.
yes, that definitely came as a surprise to me. But, that's also a key moment that kind of helped me to realize that, I can actually I can actually play the sport very well. And and if them really make that decision, that means them really see a lot of good potential in me going forward. So yeah, that happened, and I ended up becoming the captain for the team that year.
Mm.
We ended up going to the second round that year, but we didn't end up winning anything that year as well.
Right, right, right,
So
right. Oh, so
we
that
actually,
season finished in the second round for you.
yes, that season ended in the second round. And so a lot of things were happening around that time, and I ended up stop going to school
Mm.
and kind of was more focused on coming to America to play ball. Finding a way, finding a channel, coming here to actually make my dreams a reality. And so that happened, and I ended up having to take a year off school, soccer, and everything. But I was always still playing football every evening. I would always get the guys together playing soccer in my community. I was always the one who wants to go and play soccer every day.
Okay.
So so even though I missed out a year, I was still being active playing and still learning the craft every day as well. So moving on from the high school level now,
Yes.
I Darren Duncan
Oh,
was
so before you move on, so you're saying you completed Monroe at lower six.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
go.
Okay, okay. All right. Well, take us from there then. You know,
So yeah, so I now completed. I didn't end up going to do the exams at
right?
Monroe, because I was kind of focused on just getting to my dreams and making them a reality. And so the year in the same year when I stopped going, I ended up spending a year at home, just kind of trying to figure out a channel how to get into college, to kind of make my dreams a reality and continue going forward. So Darren Duncan, who was here the year prior to me being captain, he was the captain of the team, you know, was very instrumental in helping me to actually coming to America, because he had already gone through the process, and he know what to do, you know, and he definitely helped me a lot with what to say to the coaches and where to go to find the coaches' email and stuff like that. And you know, like Juki said, I was always sending emails, 100, 200, 300 emails to the coaches. But I am not just sending emails. I am sending emails and I am calling right now. I'm saying, listen, check your email, check your email. You know, I just sent you out here, you know.
Okay.
But prior to that,
Actively engaging the coaches.
yeah, but prior to that now, the school that I initially wanted to go, where my cousin was attending, with the same school that Amin Miller and Shanavan was going, I ended up doing a video, which is how I have my first highlight video. I ended up making a highlight video and sending it to the coach. And the coach, I remember vividly, the coach told me that the quality is not good enough. And right away, I started thinking the whole dream crash. Because I was depending on this man to make sure when I leave high school, everything good together and we're good to go. And it ended up never happening. I sent him the video. He said the quality wasn't good enough. And so I started reaching out to a lot of junior colleges and sending them my highlights and stuff and calling them and telling them to check their email or their inbox. And it happened that I actually got a person in Indiana who was coach at the time. It was his first year as a coach, and he offered me a scholarship to come, an academic scholarship. So I would come to America. They would pay for the school, and I would have to deal with the housing and just taking care of myself throughout the day. And
okay.
So I ended up getting the opportunity, and as I said, Darren Duncan was the one who actually helped me, and a couple other players helped me with the process, telling me what to say to the coaches and stuff like that. I actually used his CM email that he sent to the coach. He sent me it, and I just edited it up and send it and just send it out.
Okay, and so you ended up accepting this offer?
Yes, I ended up accepting the offer. You know, and so in this first highlight video, I ended up having to steal a few moves from a couple of the players because the video quality was not all that. So
right.
So I ended up stealing a few moves from my teammates that were playing on the Monroe team with me that year, but you couldn't really see them face, but the body type looked the same. So I just put it in the video, so to kind of make the
coach. Okay.
Yeah. So
which school was this though that you accepted the offer from?
This was Ancilla College in Indiana, and at the time they were ranked third in the whole country in the NJCCA.
Okay.
So I mean that in itself showed that the quality that the coach. I didn't know what he saw actually, because looking back at that video, I don't think I would ever take a soccer player who actually sent me that video. So a lot of times I sit down and I wonder why this guy really took the video, but actually gave me an offer. But I just think it's God working, and nothing can stop God plan. So that's coming into America. Finally, I actually got the chance to go get my visa. And
right.
The good thing about my mom going after the Bahamas and working is that being in the Bahamas, she was working US dollars, and even though it wasn't much, it was easier. It was easier than being in Jamaica and converting it to US dollars, because that would take way more. So it was kind of more manageable, since seeing that she was in the Bahamas. So she would take care of that side of the whole journey for 2 years. For 2 years, actually, she actually did that.
In terms of your housing and general maintenance.
Yes.
All right, so talk to us. How was that transition, though? Moving from Jamaica to a US college, so to speak. What was that transition like?
I mean, it was not a easy transition, but I believe in everything happening for a reason. And the funny thing is that same day when I was leaving Jamaica to come to America, I ended up seeing Timar Lewis. That was his first time leaving the country as well. And we were actually just like I explained earlier, we were two of the youngest players on the Dakar Cup team that year when I made it the first year. And
Right.
so when I saw him at the airport, I was thinking to myself, no, this is not this is not happening for just no reason, because there is no way me and Tum are supposed to meet up back at the same place, go into the same place at the first time again. And so, it's kind of magical. We took picture, and he went his way and I went my way. And
Right, right.
yeah,
So you
but
guys still have maintained the link over the
yes, yes,
years.
yes, most definitely. We're always in communication. Most times, he always text me and tell me that he's proud of me. I do the same thing and just keep the communication going. But transitioning from Jamaica to America, it was a lot of different. It was just a culture shock, in my opinion, with a lot of different things that they accept over there from what from what would not be the norm in Jamaica, in terms of the fast food, just the temperature. In the winter time, it was the first time I experienced snow, and just not having anyone from my culture. Yeah, the first year I had a Jamaican there, but just not having, you know, like a lot of Jamaicans around to
Right,
basically.
because Indiana isn't really the traditional, US
Yeah,
destination for most Jamaicans.
yes. So for those 2 years, it was rough because where I was in India and it was mostly cornfields. There wasn't any really a lot of transportation. Even if you go on the Uber app, you would probably not see any Ubers available in the area. Like it was just a kind of dead area,
Oh, it's
reindeer.
more like a rural area.
Yeah, no buses. If you don't have your own car, you probably have to have a friend who can transport you from place to place. But yeah, it wasn't a really easy transition. I had to start cooking for myself, and just being more responsible, you know.
Yeah, you no parents were no around. You had to
Yeah,
fend for yourself, so to speak.
yes, yes. And so it definitely taught me a lot about life, and I really appreciate those moments.